When you think of Coca-Cola, you probably picture that familiar dark brown fizz pouring into a glass, paired with the bold red label we all recognize. But what if I told you there's a long-standing rumor that Coca-Cola was once green? It's one of those quirky, did-you-know facts that keeps popping up everywhere, at parties, in classrooms, and all over the internet. The question is there any truth to it? Or is this just another urban legend that's spiraled out of control? Today, we're breaking down the story, separating fact from fiction, and finally answering the question: was Coca-Cola originally green? Stick around, because we're diving into it all, right here, on History of Simple Things. To understand this whole green Coke idea, we need to go back to 1886, when a pharmacist named John Stith Pemberton created Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia. Back then, sodas weren't sold in cans or plastic bottles. They were served at soda fountains, often as medicinal tonics. Pemberton originally crafted Coca-Cola as a patent medicine, something that could supposedly cure headaches, fatigue, and maybe even give you a little mood boost. His syrupy formula contained coca leaf extract, yes, the same plant that produces cocaine, though not in the same strength, along with cola nut for caffeine. Mix that with sugar and carbonated water and boom, Coca-Cola was born. But here's the important detail. The drink itself wasn't green. The syrup Pemberton made was brownish, and when mixed with carbonated water, it created that caramel-colored soda we still recognize today. So why do so many people believe Coca-Cola was once green? There are a couple of theories floating around. One explanation points to the iconic glass bottles. In the early 1900s, Coca-Cola started being bottled in a distinct contour-shaped glass bottle. The glass used often had a slight green tint to it, thanks to natural minerals like iron in the sand used to make the bottles. This particular shade is called Georgia Green, named after Coca-Cola's home state. If you looked at Coke in one of those bottles, it might have appeared greenish, especially in certain lighting. But the drink itself wasn't green. It was still the same caramel brown soda. Another possible source of the myth is simple word-of-mouth exaggeration. People love to share quirky trivia, even when the facts are a little fuzzy. Over time, Coke bottles were green might have morphed into Coke itself was green. Coca-Cola's real color is no secret. It's a deep brown, thanks to caramel coloring, one of the key ingredients that gives Coke its taste and look. Caramel coloring has been part of the recipe since the beginning, and it's what makes Coca-Cola instantly recognizable when you pour it into a glass. The company has even addressed the green rumor directly multiple times, clarifying that Coke has never been green. Officially, Coca-Cola's website states, "Coca-Cola has always been the same color since its invention in 1886. So if you were imagining some lime green soda bubbling in old-timey soda fountains, that's pure myth." There's also the irony that Coca-Cola as a company has put so much effort into color branding, but with red, not green. The bold red background with white script has become one of the most recognized logos in the world. Red was chosen partly because it stood out on store shelves and was easy to identify from a distance. And here's a fun twist. Coca-Cola's use of red was so dominant that some people mistakenly think the company invented the modern image of Santa Claus in a red suit. That's not entirely true. Santa had been depicted in red before, but Coca-Cola's ads in the 1930s and 40s definitely cemented that look in popular culture. So while Coke may not have started off green, it did play a huge role in shaping how we see red today. Even though the original Coca-Cola has always been brown, the company has experimented with colors over the years. In the 1980s, they released Cherry Coke, which had a reddish tint. Later came Vanilla Coke, Coke Zero, and most recently flavors like Orange Vanilla and Starlight, each with slightly different colors when poured. But in 2003, Coca-Cola actually tried releasing a green-themed product, Coca-Cola Life. This version came in a green-labeled bottle and was sweetened with a mix of sugar and stevia to appeal to more health-conscious consumers. Even then, the soda itself was still brown. The green was just for the label and branding. So if you ever wanted a green Coke, Coca-Cola Life was probably the closest thing to it. But it wasn't the original formula, and it definitely wasn't green liquid. Now, even though Coca-Cola wasn't green, its history is still full of surprising twists. For example, did you know that when it first launched, it was advertised as a cure for morphine addiction? Pemberton himself was a Civil War veteran who had become addicted to morphine after being wounded. His Coca-Cola formula was partly his attempt to create a safer alternative. Also, in its earliest days, Coca-Cola really did contain trace amounts of cocaine from the coca leaf extract. By 1929, the company had fully removed any active cocaine. But that fact alone fueled plenty of myths about the drink over the years. Compared to those wild details, the Green Coke story actually feels pretty tame. So, was Coca-Cola originally green? The answer is simple: no. Coca-Cola has always been the same caramel brown color since John Pemberton first mixed it up in 1886. The myth probably started because of the green-tinted glass bottles, and over time, people confused the packaging with the product itself. But even if Coke wasn't green, the story behind this rumor is a reminder of how powerful perception can be. It shows how easily myths can spread, how color branding influences memory, and how a simple soda can become larger than life. At the end of the day, whether it's brown, green, or poured over ice, Coca-Cola remains one of the most iconic drinks in history. And maybe that's why we keep inventing stories about it, because Coke isn't just a beverage, it's a part of culture. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.